Saying there will be no closing of the border with Mexico out of concerns about the H1N1 virus or swine flu, saying he's been told by his health advisors that that would be akin to the proverbial closing of the barn door after the horse is gone, saying he has in fact read the still classified documents former Vice President Cheney claims proves torture saved lives, and that isn't the point. The point is the information might have been gotten by other means, and did the entire process make us safer? Saying he feels the state secrets provisions used by his attorneys in defense of some of Mr. Bush's cases are overbroad. President Obama concludes his third formal news conference on this the evening of his 100th day in office. I'm Keith Olbermann in New York. A full hour of countdown ahead in a moment, but first I'm joined by Rachel Maddow of The Rachel Maddow Show. And I guess, Rachel, the headline here tonight was information on waterboarding, his opinion of it, and also that, I guess, that revelation that he has seen the documents. I'm presuming he means the same ones that Mr. Cheney claims would justify everything we saw during the Bush administration.
That was how I understood that comment about the Cheney documents as well, Keith. I imagine we'll need some clarification from that tonight from the White House as to whether or not he has gone ahead and looked at those, whatever it was, 13 pages, 23 pages, I don't remember exactly, those two documents that we know Cheney requested from the detainees file that he kept in his executive office. I thought that was remarkable, and remarkable in its specificity. I also thought it was remarkable that he was talking about reviewing and reducing the scope of the state secrets doctrine, saying that's being worked on right now as we speak by Greg Craig and Eric Holder. Love to hear more about that. On torture, the whole discussion of torture, his third and fourth questions, both about torture, I thought his framing of the issue was surprising. He was sort of accepting, I thought, the sort of Jack Bauer, Dick Cheney framing of the issue in a way that I think liberals will be very disappointed in.
And he also did not answer, even though it was phrased twice to him identically by Jake Tapper from ABC News, the actual point of the question was, did the previous administration sanction torture? He gave us a lot of information in lieu of a direct answer to that question. Right.
He said, I thought the exact quote was funny. It was something to the effect of, whatever legal rationales were used, it was a mistake.
Yeah.
A mistake is not the same thing as a crime, which I think is what Jake was getting at. So he didn't, again, he managed to evade that exact prescription, that exact issue. But he did accept, I thought, the framing, this idea that torture is the quick way, the efficient way to get information out of suspects, describing it as a shortcut, as if it were a distasteful shortcut that erodes our character as a nation, but one that might be efficacious in some way. I thought it was interesting framing.
Yeah, it was. I'm not sure that he meant to be as, I'm not trying to do his thinking for him here, but I'm not sure that he meant to be as exact as that sounds, because he did say, not because there might not have been information, which sort of left that a little bit more nebulous than perhaps we're framing it as. But what I thought was really interesting here was that he particularly avoided assigning any kind of, that whole idea of this being a mistake is exactly the way that the Republicans have, and those in liberal circles even who have suggested no further investigations or no prosecutions have kept the idea going that you'd be prosecuting people for legal advice or you'd be prosecuting people for policy differences. It seemed to be more in that vernacular. So it's a very dichotomous answer, awfully specific and informational in one regard, and yet kind of a sidestep in another.
I think that's right. It's the idea that there's been some sort of error made, as he said, some sort of mistake made, that the information that was provided to him was maybe inaccurate. That's a whole world away from the idea that a torture program was devised, thought up, created, and then implemented systematically, which is what the evidence that's come out recently would seem to indicate. It would seem to indicate that at least the way that I've seen it is not at all the way that President Obama sees it, just speaking for myself.
I think you can speak for me on that one as well.